strong partners are critical for pharma. It reduces uncertainty, which is an important thing. So, and as you know, Poolbeg, we're looking forward to when we have the data in hand to partnering this program. And as I say, having this particular patent granted and others to follow, I think building on the quality of science that we have, it kind of makes that long-term commercial opportunity a bit more viable. And patent protection is absolutely essential for that.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Poolbeg Pharma CEO, Jeremy Skillington. Jeremy, very good to speak with you. And great news this morning. You've secured your first POLB-001 cancer immunotherapy-induced CRS patent. Tell us more.
Yeah, great morning to announce this. We've received formal certificate of grant or notice of grant of the patent from IP Australia. That's the Australian Patent Office, of course, and the patent covers the use of any p38 MAP kinase inhibitor, which includes POLB-001, for the prevention of cancer immunotherapy-induced cytokine release syndrome. And this is supported by proprietary data generated by Poolbeg, and we're delighted that the coverage is so broad. As we're coming into the space again, this is following thorough review by the examiners. So, it's again exciting for the company for on many levels. But we initially filed our oncology patent applications in the UK in January of 2023. And subsequently, we filed a patent cooperation treaty application in January 2024. And what that does, it kind of helps to accelerate examination. And we use the patent prosecution highway again to kind of move things forward because this is such an exciting space. As I say, we want to get out in front of this, and it allows on an international basis an expedited review, following a favorable patent examination. So again, fantastic to get this today, and of course, we're building on this as well for the future.
Jeremy, why is this patent grant particularly exciting for the company?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. It's hard to kind of underestimate or understate how important it is. It's particularly exciting for us as a first national grant, within the cancer immunotherapy space. We'll have data, coming up, interim data in the summer. So this is great. I mean, the timing of this is absolutely perfect. Again, let's say locking into this cancer immunotherapy-induced cytokine release syndrome. We've got patents, pre-existing patents in the influenza and hypercytokinemia space, and again, expanding into oncology. This is again, I think it shows kind of confidence. The fact that we're moving down the right way. We have now kind of patent protection in Australia. Hopeful, of course, that this will go much broader to other territories. But as I say, it'll be the use of p38 MAP kinase inhibitors to prevent and treat cancer immunotherapy-induced CRS in many jurisdictions.
Why does Big Pharma see such value in having patent protection on drugs such as POLB-001?
Yeah, I've been saying this for years. I mean, pharma kind of looks at many things when it comes to partnering programs. Of course, the data, they want to see the data kind of stacks up. It's obviously relevant to them and their pipeline. But the next big question, the next big diligence study is in intellectual property. So Big Pharma invest enormous resources in bringing drugs to market, between discovery, clinical trials, regulatory approval, manufacturing, and scale up. The total cost of that can run into billions of dollars. And patent protection is kind of what makes that investment viable. It provides a defined period of time in the market where they'll have that exclusivity, and that's where they can kind of recoup, you could say, the rewards from marketing that product. And again, this is kind of prevention, let's say, of generic competition from moving into that space. So this exclusivity is critical for them, and it obviously is linked into the value. It's not just the market size, but it's that period of exclusivity. So strong partners are critical for pharma. It reduces uncertainty, which is an important thing. So and as you know, Poolbeg, we're looking forward to when we have the data in hand to partnering this program. And as I say, having this particular patent granted and others to follow, I think building on the quality of science that we have, it kind of makes that long-term commercial opportunity a bit more viable. And patent protection is absolutely essential for that.
What are the next steps in expanding this intellectual property portfolio, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, it's very critical for Poolbeg. Patent protection and growing our IP portfolio is an ongoing activity. Lots of discussions and meetings with our IP attorneys, and we look to expand, as I say, the use of these p38 MAP kinase inhibitors for the treatment of cancer immunotherapy-induced CRS. We look forward to other corresponding applications in other jurisdictions, And again, hoping that we'll have positive reviews from them as well. And again, with the use of this patent protection, highway I mentioned earlier on, we're hoping to get those expedited reviews because we know that when it comes to partnering, having many jurisdictions covered under a patent portfolio will add to the value of the program itself. So right now the team is obviously focused on executing on the topical clinical trial and getting the data, the interim data as I mentioned in the summer. So it's like full steam ahead from Poolbeg, and I say we're looking forward to updating the market when all these near-term milestones are realized.
Looking forward to that as well. Jeremy, congratulations on this latest milestone.
Thank you. Happy out.
Jeremy Skillington, CEO of Poolbeg Pharma.